Hi, welcome back to Next Level Rides. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Taylor. This is going to be part of the father and son series. Unfortunately, the father went out for milk. Still waiting for him to get back. Don't know when that's going to be, but today we're going to be reviewing this beautiful 2017 540 owned by Mr. Anonymous. Let's get to it. So, beautiful 540, 2017, all-wheel drive, and then Mr. Anonymous, would you like to give us a little bit more detail into it?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Dad?
Oh,
you have the milk?
I went for smokes, actually, son. I don't smoke, but I got a smoker's cough. I gotta drop the act. I can't see out of those damn things. So, this is my 2017 BMW 540. Bought it about a year ago, and always wanted to jump into something with a B58. So, here we are.
Why a 540 over a 340 or 240 or something else with a B58?
2 Series just didn't really do it justice. Like, when I think BMW, I think something sedan, a little more luxury. And this being the G Series, it ended up being, ironically, the same cost as a 340 and a 240, which was weird. And it has way more luxury. It's just felt right. Consolidated a few vehicles, and I ended up getting one that ends up checking most of the boxes. So the 540 was it.
So if somebody was looking into buying a B58 and they came to you and said, I don't know if I want to pick a 540 or a 240 or a 340, why would you tell somebody to get a 540 versus why would you tell somebody to get like a 340 or 240?
If they're getting old with ailing joints and arthritis, it's a little more comfortable than a 240 or a 340. But in all honesty, I mean, all jokes aside, the 540, the quality's there. Like, it's a G Series. You get all the amenities you would of a newer vehicle. You get all of the old features from a 7 Series. And realistically, I think I ended up getting this cheaper than 240, 340, and even a 440. So it just made sense. Like, it's bigger, it's more comfortable, has more amenities, it's more luxury. It checked more boxes. And the 340 and the 240, the interior just doesn't feel up to par. This is completely different.
A 3 Series and a 2 Series, right?
It's a 3 Series and a 2 Series, and this one, as an example, if we're getting to the finer things, like even the knobs, like the climate control's digital, the dials are all, I believe they call it like a diamond touch, so it's a ceramic diamond, so it has a completely different feel to it. And then with the gestures and the touch screen and the full digital display, it was way better, and it was definitely the right choice.
Clearly it's not stock. What are some of the things you've done to it cosmetically, performance-wise, and what would be, like if you had to pick one thing, bang for buck, what was the best thing you've done to this?
So cosmetically, there hasn't been a whole lot that I've done. You can see where I've done the M5 mirror caps. Small things like the M5 grills. I'm not sure exactly what style the front lip is, but even just to quiet down the front end, it's small little carbon accents that I had trimmed and put over. I ended up trimming and overlaying onto the factory emblem. Eyelids, blacking out the side markers and blacking out the side brushed aluminum vents. It's one of those, I just wanted to kind of keep it clean, black it out. I wanted to tone down the headlights because the black with the chrome headlights, it was a little bit too much. Other than that, just tinting the taillights and very basic stuff. Best bang for the buck, I would have to say, is ironically probably the tune. Jumping from JB4 to MHD specifically, you have more options and it seems to be a little more consistent with the power. So I made the jump to MHD. Now it's running currently today on an E50 blend, so it is running an ethanol map, and the power is significant. I would say it's easily 160, 180 horsepower to the crank over stock, without a doubt. Other than basic cosmetics, I did just wheel spacers to have the wheels stick out a little bit further, and haven't lowered it yet, haven't found wheels yet. That's in the works. All right,
well, you feel like joining me on a venture to find my dad?
Let's go find that handsome gentleman.
Well, don't go that far.
This f***ing guy. Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting, like, to get comfortable.
Yeah, it's different. I totally am understanding what you're saying now about the paddles. They feel a little too sunk.
Yeah, they are sunk.
Yeah.
It's almost like the factory paddles. Like, the factory paddles aren't sunk in as much. So part of me is tempted to go back to Factory pedals make cash 600 to 1800 weekly. www. Not going to give you free advertisement. Look at this Camaro. You want to get eaten alive?
I'm not stepping on it.
No, and that's the thing. Like a car like this, you're very uncomfortable driving it for the first while.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I've been fortunate in my life where I can get in and go, and I've been able to sit in the driver's seat of a lot of vehicles. Some of them you can get right in and you're comfortable immediately, whether you've ever driven it or not. Some you just, it takes some dialing in and getting used to.
Yeah, and this is one of those cars. I could jump into an E90, 92, whatever else, 340, and it doesn't faze me. But for some reason, this car, I don't know what it is. It's kind of intimidating at first, and it's just you have to grow into being comfortable driving them.
I think a lot of that comes from the factor too that when you visually look at it from the outside, it's a big vehicle, but like, sitting here in the driver's seat, it doesn't feel big.
No, it really doesn't. It doesn't feel any real different. It doesn't feel much different than, say, a 340. But from the outside, you're right. It looks like the bloody Titanic. But then you sit inside of it and kind of look around and you're like, yeah, it has lots of room, but it doesn't feel that big. I guess to touch base on the mods, it has MHD Stage 2 Plus. So with the upgraded high pressure pump, it has the Super TU pump. So ends up supporting full E85 with MHD maps. Other than that, it has downpipe. It has a muffler delete. It has a squeaky rattling head, whatever the this thing's called. So when the sunroof's open, it squeaks. It's annoying, but whatever. But other than that, it has FTP inlet. It has a CTS trudge pipe just to kind of get rid of all the plastics, and the BMS billet filter adapter. So other than cosmetics, it has some pretty basic mods, but yeah, just data logging with the E50, it seems to be pretty happy. So
Shut up.
yeah, that's the only downside with newer cars. Sometimes they rattle.
All right, bump you up one, Doc.
For what?
For sensitivity.
Individual.
So individual would be what?
Let's just do standard. So individual gives you sport everything, but it gives you sport plus for transmission. So for the transmission and the engine, it ends up being, or sorry, for the engine, it ends up being responsive, but then it shifts like comfort. So if you have a little bit of an input, rather than it just accelerating in a high gear, it'll downshift. So this is just sport here.
Gotcha.
So this is your basic sport. And then past here, there's like 42,000 steps into making it spicy and spicier yet. And
Makes the steering wheel more heavy.
yeah, ghost pepper or whatever else. Yeah, it gets pretty spicy. And I did an extra little bit of habanero on the transmission flash. That's another thing I should mention. It has XHP Stage 3 with a little bit of a custom splash of spice. So it works pretty good.
Gotta say, it's kind of boring to drive, but it's kind of nice.
It is boring.
Like it, when you say it has no soul, I understand what you're saying. Because it's like me hopping in the X5 when I want to just get in a vehicle and go. It's a bit of a boring drive.
Yep. But it's saving grace in the fact that this one is full M Performance. So it has the M Performance seats, suspension, springs, struts. So it's a little bit lower than a normal one. Sway bars, the bumpers and all that. That's its saving grace in that when you start driving it a little bit harder, you start to have a little bit more respect for it, and you start to see what kind of a personality it has. But it's still, it's one of most new cars. I can't fault this car, but most new cars don't have a soul, and I think that's a problem that a lot of people are kind of realizing. It's not like a 90s Japanese car or an E46 M3 and stuff like that. Even the newer M5s, they don't, like a newer M5, it almost doesn't have a soul. It's fast and it handles, but they lack that personality. But this one was exceptionally worse with the throttle delay and the power delivery. Like you put your foot down and on a data log, it would show the pedal at 100% and it gradually ramps it in. So they made it super soft. Being that I like to tinker, I wanted to kind of shy away from the numbness to give it some sort of personality and soul. And once you start driving it a little harder, you'll start to notice. It'll make sense once you drive it. It's really hard to explain, and a lot of people watching this won't understand. But it's one of those cars you have to drive it and then start driving faster for it to make sense.
Yeah, like the easiest way for me to explain it, it's like just hopping in an X5 or something else, and you can just hop in and go. It doesn't really give you any appeal. It doesn't make you want to put your foot down, or it's kind of just at the end of the day kind of a car. But like you said, that's an issue a lot of these newer ones are having. Like the reason personally I've never veered away from an E chassis, I love how they are.
Yeah, just by nature, they handle so much better. Yeah, so to go back to the steering wheel, it's more electric, so it's rather numb, so you don't really feel the road, and you don't have that feedback you would of a more high performance or a more connected driving vehicle. But they did good with this. It's still one of the best 5 Series I've driven.
Response is amazing.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet?
It's very easy to drive.
Yep. Like, if you... Here, well... This is sportier yet. Yeah, so if you want to do manual mode now...
Oh, I'm already there.
Okay. So, there you go. Yeah, so this would be the quickest it shifts. This is like full ghost pepper.
Man, the noises are good.
Yeah, like most of these end up having, I think they call it ASD, so artificial sound design or automated sound design. So a small portion of it comes through the speakers, but I turned it down just a little bit.
It doesn't turn like a boat, I'll tell you that.
No.
Okay, now it feels fun.
See?
You've got that fine line, but where, like, even in the faster, more lively settings,
yeah,
it's still kind of boring, but once you get to the point where it's fun, for sure.
Yeah, like, you can have a boring car, but if it has multiple modes, you may as well make it. You may as well have a happy median. If I wanted to be comfort and just drive on a daily basis, you know, to work and back and leave it in comfort, but that's why I did the Sport Individual. So with the XHP, it makes it really nice. So it hangs around at a low RPM, but with throttle input, it's a very happy median on shifting and response. But then if you go full habanero like this, then it kind of transforms the vehicle. And the response is way nicer. The MHD is way nicer. I don't plan to always drive it on an E50, but around town where we actually have an ethanol pump, it's really not all that bad.
No. Any next performance mods, or just leave it?
Suspension. It'll definitely get suspension and wheels. I used to have multiple different sets of wheels, so I'd be known to have 4 or 5 sets for any particular vehicle at any point in time. So I'll definitely do a nice set of 20s and maybe a light set of 19s for weekend. Yeah.
Beamer beating a bike.
Beamer racing a bike. I didn't realize we were down in Mexico. Yeah, other than that, I've been kind of throwing around the idea of upgrading the turbo. Nothing crazy, just a hybrid turbo, maybe another 100 wheel horsepower, and call it good. But I don't think it really needs it.
It's all right. I haven't put my foot down, so I can't really say.
No, I could kind of tell. I was about to say, I don't remember the car being that slow, but I don't think you've actually pinned it.
No.
I'm sure you will. It's kind of an intimidating car almost. I don't know. You jump in and it's kind of boring, but at the same time, when you feel the response, you're kind of...
It gives you different attitudes, so it makes you kind of think about how to take it.
Yep.
Like you get in an M car, you know it's an M car, you know how to take it.
Yep.
You get in like, actually I guess a good example would be an X5. You get in an X5, you don't know how to take it because it drives like a car. So you drive it very boring, but...
Yep. Yep, that's exactly it.
Boost was mint.
Yep.
It stayed pretty dialed.
Yep, I usually shift around just over 6, maybe 6 and a little bit.
You can feel where it's dying.
Yep, doesn't help we were going up a steep hill too.
No. I gotta say, I'm not too, like, the power part of it isn't what excites me, but like chucking it around a corner a bit is kind of intriguing to me because it doesn't feel like what it is.
Well, and that's just it. It doesn't feel like what it is. See, it just sticks.
Yeah, it actually sticks really good.
Well, go kill a vet. Oh, he's trying to turn in. You wanna f***ing go? He's gonna go. He's got the sunglasses. Go! Go, go. Oh, sorry, bro.
He gave up right away.
Yeah. He didn't want the Cholula.
I didn't want Big Bertha taking him down.
No, it's a big boat. You don't expect it. Where did he go? He's way the fuck right there.
He slowed right down in the speed.
Yeah. The fun part about driving one of these is nobody expects it to be as quick as it is.
Getting into it more and more, I'm having a lot more fun with it.
Yep. That's usually how it happens. Yeah. It just takes it. It's comfy, but you can have fun when you want to.
Once you realize it has a fun factor to it, you want to use it more and more and more.
Yep. Took me a while to learn that. Oh, just pass them. See, everyone's going significantly under the speed limit. We have to pass them at the speed limit.
Idiots, man. They're going to cause an accident.
Yeah.
Want the smoke? Come here. I'm like stupidly impressed with this thing.
Go, go, go. Yeah. Well, he got out.
Still started to reel.
That's the thing. A lot of people, as soon as they start getting reeled in, they just let off.
I hate this because I love this.
Yeah.
It's the happy medium between like a modified U92 and a X5.
Yep. Well, he's ready. And go. Go.
Come on, Vamanos!
You see what I mean? Like, that Camaro's probably 450 horse, easy. Rear wheel drive.
That poor other beaver. Sorry.
So a little bit different for this one. Taylor hasn't driven the car before, so this one's going to be a completely unbiased opinion, I'm sure. And I'm sure it's going to end up being payback for when I reviewed his. So stay tuned. Let's see how it stacks up and how Taylor ranks it amongst the rest. Great.
Payback time.
Payback. Here we go. Now it's time to rate the vehicle. The car will be graded on 5 specific categories and given a score from 1 to 10. Its final grading will be based off the combined total points at the end of the review. First up is performance. The performance of the vehicle will be rated based on power delivery, acceleration, based on the modifications and tuning of the vehicle itself. Appearance is second. The appearance will be reviewed based on aesthetics and quality of the exterior modifications, whether eye-catching or obnoxious. Third up is handling. Everyone can go fast, but can it take a corner? Aside from power, handling is a very important aspect that shouldn't be overlooked. Fourth up is customization. A rating given to the vehicle based on its modifications, attention to detail, quality of the build itself, is it done properly or were corners cut? Last but not least, enjoyment. Is the car awful to drive, exhausting, simply amazing, or something in between? Alright, so let's get to it.
Since my dad still hasn't returned with the milk, I'll be the one doing the review and the report card for this vehicle. Starting off with performance, I'm giving it an 8. The vehicle is incredibly usable and enjoyable power, but it feels like it just needs that little bit extra to keep going up top. Tuning is great, vehicle is incredibly responsive, and it's a surprising weapon as seen during the test drive. I think a slightly larger turbo or maybe meth would definitely help keep the vehicle to push towards perfection. For appearance, I gave it a 7. The exterior of the vehicle is very well maintained and cared for, and has very tasteful mods to set it apart from another 5 Series on the road. I think wheels, lowering springs, and a rear diffuser to add to the aggression would be the cherry on top. For handling, I gave it a 9. It's unsuspecting, and for what the vehicle is, it is an absolute weapon in a corner that provides confidence for the driver through the feedback. But there's definitely a little bit of room for improvement. For modifications, I gave the vehicle an 8. The modifications that have been done to the vehicle has definitely been done with blood, sweat, tears, and a little bit of OCD. Fitment of all modifications are spot on, but I would still add some modifications to the rear to give those Camaros something to look at. Enjoyment, I gave the vehicle an 8 as well. Unless you're getting on it, the vehicle feels and behaves like your usual vehicle with no wow factor. But when you start to get more comfortable with the vehicle, it is an unsuspecting, smile-inducing, memory-creating weapon that still leaves the average sports car behind. Overall, that gives the vehicle a total of 40 out of 50. I think there's a little bit room for improvement, but overall the vehicle is fantastic, unsuspecting, and really gives you the best of both worlds between a daily driver comfortable car and something that you can go rip around on the weekends. What do you guys think? Would you guys rate it differently? Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.